I wanted to come on here today and talk about we are 77 days till the defense of the Eagles Super Bowl championship. But then I wake up to the Ace Bailey news and him not wanting to come to Philly for a pre-draft workout. So I guess we're going to talk a little NBA draft as well. Guys, trending in the AM. Oh, the Phillies won last night too. We're live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. YouTube and Twitter, you know the drill. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and please subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. I would greatly appreciate it. It's free to do. It literally costs you nothing. And I guarantee if you don't enjoy the content here, then all you got to do is unsubscribe. So please like, share, subscribe, and vote on our poll, which I set up last night before I knew the Ace Bailey situation. Are you confident the Eagles repeat as Super Bowl champions? Yes, no. Go freaking bird. So like, share, subscribe. Do that. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host, guys. And we've got lots to talk about today. I wanted to talk and be hyped about being 11 weeks from opening game for the Eagles. But I wake up to the Ace Bailey situation, and we are going to talk Ace Bailey. We are going to talk the NBA draft, rumors swirling, lots of things happening, lots of unknowns, despite the fact that a week from today, we'll wake up and already know who Daryl Morey selected with that pick. So there's a lot to dive into, lots to delve into, lots to figure out. So let's get right to it. The news came out late last night, early this morning. I saw it when I woke up, that Ace Bailey, projected number 3 overall pick in the NBA draft, right where the Sixers select, has chosen to cancel his visit to Philadelphia, his workout to Philadelphia. There's airfare, there's hotel, there's dinner, there's workout scheduled. There's a lot happening. And he said, nah, no thanks. First and foremost, before I even talk about it, who in the world hired his agents and his team? If I was his parents, I'd be like, yo, about time maybe we can reconsider who's in charge of your future and your reputation, because he's getting some bad advice somewhere. He wants to play in Charlotte or Washington or Utah. Maybe that says his character right there. He wanted some form of guarantee from the Sixers to come in here. Like, ridiculous. I know the kid's 18. But man, when I was 18, I was getting better advice than him. Yes, Marshawn Bailey cancels visit. Oh, no. Is Pump Man a big Ace Bailey guy? No, you've been gone. We've been gone. You've been gone all week. I shouted out the D.C. Defenders. I reminded Washington that was the D.C. Defenders were going to be the only championship they see ever in that city for a long time. Rick, good morning. Ace Bailey is a head case. Steer clear of that dude. Used the 3 pick to facilitate a trade. We'll get into that in a second, because there's some ideas being thrown and floated around out there about a trade with that 3rd pick and Paul George. So we're going to get into that aspect as well very soon. Steer clear of the mediocre draft entirely. I mean, there's an argument to be made with that, Rick. I think there's also an argument that you could still, if you trade back, which, to get to this, the rumors are floating. It's not substantiated rumors. It's podcast rumors that the Sixers and pick 3 with Paul George to the Jazz for pick 5 and some expiring contracts. That kind of thought process, A, clears up the Paul George situation, but B, also can still get you a solid depth role player on this team. It's the thought process that Daryl Morey should be having. Trade was gifted to us. It's a get out of jail free card for sure. Good morning, Rick. Muchas gracias. Thank you. I've canceled my trip to 76ers. I live 20 minutes away. Well, yeah. But you know what? So here's the thing, Big Al. Like, where do these 18-year-old kids get this idea in their head that they're above everything else? Like, there's people out there saying the Sixers should still draft him despite that, either A, because of his potential talent and he's just a young idiot kid getting bad advice, or B, because, just to stick it to him for the way he acted. Like, we see this in sports. This is not the first time an athlete has kind of put their foot down with teams that could potentially draft them. The thing is, these are kids, man. Who's giving him this advice? If this was the situation, he should have never accepted the visit in the first place. He looks worse now canceling the visit. Good morning, Duck. How you doing? We're talking football. We are 11 weeks from today. I'll be giving my Eagles-Cowboys Week 1 score prediction. So we are 11 weeks away. Football was the plan today till I woke up with Ace Bailey news. And we're still going to talk football. I would clear him off the board. Dude is weak or weak-minded. I wasn't even sure if Ace Bailey was the right selection for the Sixers anyway. They obviously seem to be hyping up VJ Edgecombe a lot. Rumors to move up to 2 to get Dylan Harper. Lots of rumors to trade back to 5, 7, 8, 9, which are all in play. And I think this Ace Bailey situation is another indication that makes Daryl Morey have to do even more work. We're going to talk about Daryl Morey in a second. Bailey's another self-absorbed NBA player that'll put up a bunch of hollow stats and no championships. Him wanting to go to Charlotte, him wanting to go to D.C. or wanting to go to Utah, small market cities with casual fan bases, tells me he doesn't want the smoke of a big city with actual pressure that'll be put on his shoulders. He don't want to be pushed to the limits. Dude couldn't even get his team in the tournament. A lot of very big similarities in the tournament or in his last year and the draft process with Ben Simmons. Here's the other thing. Rick, I wouldn't be shocked if Daryl Morey says, I don't care, and I still draft him anyway. Now, I know Daryl Morey's had a couple of really solid drafts in his tenure in Philadelphia. The one thing he does do right. But on the flip side, he also lives in a bizarro world. When everybody's zigging, he's zagging. When everybody says the world's on fire, he's like, it's okay, I can walk on water. Like, he literally always does the complete total opposite. So it wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all if he would draft him. Training the AM and Travelers are on. It's going to be a good day. Hope everybody removed Brian Campbell. If you're an idiot and put Brian Campbell in a lineup, he withdrew about 20 minutes ago. I feel guarantees are for people who fear longevity or competition. I love that line. It's a great line right there. Love it. I think he fears it. I don't think he fears anything. And I think Ace Bailey still got the potential to turn into a solid NBA basketball player. He's an 18-year-old kid that's getting some god-awful advice. Yes, K1, go Birds. 11 weeks from today, we are going to literally be like kids on Christmas morning. Eagles, Cowboys to kick off the season 11 weeks from today. And that's the poll question. Are you confident the Eagles will be Super Bowl champions? Yes, no, and go frickin' Birds. There's one person that voted no. Probably TMC. He already a headache to teams, and he ain't even on a team yet. Clear sign to avoid. Dude, the dude's got red flags all over the world right now, Rick. Without a doubt. I'm still taking Ace, says the pump man. Danny Ainge is still interested in him. Danny Ainge will find a way to rob the – we'll draft Ace, and then Danny Ainge will be like, I'll trade you the 67th pick in the 2047 draft for him. And Daryl Morey will be like, oh, yeah, sure. Sure, Danny, whatever you want. Morey is 3 years past his Sixers. Well, Keith, I mean, come on now. Absolutely. Morey was never supposed to be hired here in the first place. Y'all think I'm a Rob Thompson hater? Like, my God. My least favorite people in Philadelphia is Daryl Morey right now. Head and shoulders. For sure. Maybe Ace Bailey sees the dysfunction and disaster in this city and doesn't want to be a part of that. Maybe he's actually smarter and more mature than we realize and just sees, I don't want to go to Philly. Why would I want to go to that crap organization that has no clue, that's going to run it back with the 3 stars again? Go play for a guy in Nick Nurse that's going to make me ride the bench when I'm better than half the players on that team. Would any of those thought processes shock you? No. Maturity is part of the drafting process. It's why I'd rather them trade the 3rd pick for a proven player. I don't know who, though. Well, first off, how mature do we expect 18-year-olds to be? When I was 18, I was making some really damn dumb decisions. Actually, pretty solid decisions when I was 18. I was more mature at 18 than I am now at 44. But a lot of us at 18 were making some really dumb decisions. Right now, the most recent rumor, and again, it's just a Locked On Network person saying this, so it's not substantiated, but it's a thought process that works, is that the Sixers and the Jazz could be in a trade, take pick 3 and Paul George, trade it to the Jazz. You get pick 5, so you're only moving 2 spots back, and you pick up 2 expiring contracts in John Collins and Colin Sexton. So you get off of 3 years of Paul George. You get 2 role players. You only slide 2 spots back in the draft, so you can still draft a solid role player. That's the kind of thought process that Daryl needs to be having right now. Can't stress enough. Rick, the Jazz theory that I'm putting out there, where's your thoughts on that? It's not a rumor. It's a theory. But that's the thought process he needs to be having. Hey, you trade back to 5, then you can trade back again from 5 if you need to. Trading back to get off of Paul George or Embiid is smarter than trading Tyrese Maxey at this point. But there are other reports, Keith Pompey and some others that reported yesterday, again, that Daryl Morey wants to run the big 3 back and give them one more shot. Ace is getting fantastic advice, right? When you're 18, K1, when you were a little mini Kenny Gainwell, who was giving you advice? Was it good or bad? Were you making dumb decisions? Big Al says, my confidence in the Eagles stems from looking around the league and not seeing any changes that cause for concerns. Tough schedule, but that is it. I saw a little piece. I forget who wrote it. It was Brandon Lee Gowton, about how Dallas Goedert, during this process of negotiating his contract extension or redo or whatever, how Jalen Hurts called him. Just be like, relax. You're a very important part of this team. If we can make it happen, to make it happen. Just the leadership from Jalen Hurts. How much more he's even maturing still, Jalen Hurts, in that leadership avenue. Just makes my confidence level higher and higher about the Philadelphia Eagles. Draft Ace, hold him for ransom. Y'all want him, we got him. I just don't. I trust Daryl Morey a smidge, like 1%, Brian, to make the right draft pick. I don't trust Daryl Morey even 1% to make a smart trade. That's the problem right there. Yeah, in theory, it's the kind of move. You get 2 good role players that can help Embiid and Maxey maybe contend for a playoff spot this year. You still get a solid draft pick or another trade chip to make. And you get off of Paul George. You could sell the fan base on getting rid of Paul George and keeping Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's a franchise, transcendent, player. We've given him a lot of time. You could sell us on this will be the year he gets healthy and we manage him the right way. We'll all buy into it one more time because we've been with him for so long. Paul George was here for 1 year and beyond belief frustrating. Football's on the agenda. Put your football questions. You want to talk about Jaire Alexander going to Baltimore? Go for it. I'll address all comments. Morey is an effing idiot if he tries to run it back. Well, he is an effing idiot, and he is going to try to run it back. 18-year-old me didn't listen to nobody. Yeah. I mean, I was in a different situation when I was 18 than most people, but not by choice. But 99% of the 18-year-olds out there are getting bad advice. That's where their parents need to step in and push them in the right direction. What is Ace Bailey's background? Where is he? Like, what is going on with him? At 18 years old, you should be happy just to be getting drafted and getting more money. The most people at the age of 18, I think NIL. I was just going to bring up the NILs. Now, we've seen this kind of immature behavior in all drafts before. J.D. Drew in baseball, Eli Manning in football, Ace Bailey right now here in the NBA. We've seen this before. But I have a feeling, Steve, with this NIL situation, some of these kids are making millions of dollars already, that their egos are so inflated already because of the money that we're going to see this kind of behavior more and more, where they dictate where they want to go in the draft. Lakers being sold. I mean, that's a huge news. I didn't really dive into who is purchasing them. But yes, the Buss family, selling off ownership stake in or the ownership majority of the Lakers is kind of crazy. Guys, there's only 7 likes on this video. There's 19 people watching. There should be 19 likes. Please like, share, subscribe, and vote on our poll question. We will get to Eagles football today because obviously we are 11 weeks away. But we really need to get through this Ace Bailey talk too. Bohemian Grove for Phil Illuminati. Yeah. At least Bills got Shock Lawson. Good for them. Bills still stink. Another day, another year. I know, exactly. Is this like can we should do a show. We should do a power ranking on all of TMC's names he's had over the last year. So glad the Eagles didn't sign Alexander. Dude is a walking injury. Yeah, look, we didn't need him. Told you we weren't getting him. It is what it is. Adam, good morning. Yes, Eagles definitely going to repeat. I think they definitely are on the right path to repeat, Adam. 1,000%. Absolutely. A 5-star that can't get his team to the group of 64 plus ain't a difference maker. Deal that pick before the league figures out he can't play. This whole draft, Keith, is a lot of role players and no stars. There's a lot of guys that aren't going to be difference makers in this draft. It's just the way it's going to be. But it's just like this draft is just like draft classes where everybody goes and reaches for the best quarterbacks in the draft. They all want that difference maker, then making smart, sound decisions, even if it means skipping drafting a top guy like this. There's a lot of guys that are going to disappoint their franchise in this draft. Hell, even Cooper Flagg, Keith. And I like Cooper Flagg, the player. I think he's going to be a solid NBA player. But Cooper Flagg's never going to be a 1 or a 2 on a franchise. He's going to be the 3rd star on a franchise at best. This whole draft class, I don't want to say it's going to be the John Wall, Evan Turner class, but it's not going to be an elite class. I mean, think of it this way. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. You had 2 5s. The pick 2 and 3, and presumptive 2 and 3 in the NBA draft. I don't even think the Rutgers had a winning record this year. NIL and legalized gambling are both bad for sports, and it's already showing. I mean, yes, but I think they're separate. It's like I don't think the legalized gambling has any effect on today's conversation. That's a different conversation. But yes, there is an effect on sports for sure. And I was all for the NIL at first, and the initial way it was described that it was going to happen. But now you got athletes making $15 million in college. I forget who it was. Somebody said they made $15 or $18 million their last year in college football. Like, that's insane. Like, literally insane. What? There's nothing new here. The Bus family could at least sub. I know, exactly. Exactly. They're going to need something to do with their time. Steve has a good point. The NIL is making these kids think they are better than they are, but it's also inflating their ego. If you give an 18-year-old kid millions of dollars, yeah, his ego's going to be inflated. Eagles have the required talent to repeat. It's a tough schedule and a new OC, but I think we could do it. I think there's going to be bumps on the road for the Eagles early on. But I don't think they could do it. I fully expect them to, at a minimum, get to the Super Bowl. My expectation, my standard level for them, for me not to be disappointed in the 2025 NFL season, the Eagles have to reach the Super Bowl. I don't want to say Super Bowl or bust because you're not going to blow it up if they don't get there. But yes, the Eagles have to get to the Super Bowl for it to be a successful season. I always think about tough NFL schedule is good for a team. Iron sharpens iron. I agree. Only downside, tougher it is, you can't rest guys as much and injuries creep up and things like that. Oh, Lord, why would you have to invoke? I mean, it was one of the most, I don't blame the Sixers for taking them. In theory, they had the second pick, and you take the second best player in the draft. I don't think there is a player that will make a difference for the future for the Sixers. Get rid of the dead weight. Yeah. It's the mindset of Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey thinks the Sixers, and he doesn't just say it to say it. He really, truly thinks with a little tweak here, a little tweak there, the Sixers can contend. He's nuts. But also, if you look at it another way, Pacers are in the NBA Finals. Great basketball team. But they're beatable. Jason Tatum's going to be out for the year. Boston looks to be in sell mode because of that. Milwaukee might move on from Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Eastern Conference, in theory, is open for business. So maybe Daryl Morey's sitting there thinking, look, we got Joel, we got Paul George, we got Tyrese Maxey, we add whoever. We re-sign Grimes and Yabusele. As long as the guys are healthy, why can't we win the East? That's his thought process. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thought process, but he's seen what the landscape of the Eastern Conference is. He's like, maybe we can. Good morning, Dave. I feel super arrogant about our chances next season. Bird Gang is unbearable as it is to the other 31 teams. Do not let us get our hands on another Super Bowl. I know. Get another Super Bowl. We will be unstoppable. Bailey doesn't shoot well. He has trouble finishing in traffic. Not good handles. Questionable decisions when he has the ball. Pass on him. As soon as we landed the third pick, I said probably pass on him. Something about winners. What do the Eagles, where have the Eagles found success drafting in the last 3-4 years? Going and get players from winning teams in college. Now, I know basketball's a little different. But Bailey ain't coming from a winning team. At 18, he can learn how to shoot better or handle better, make better decisions. You can teach an 18-year-old how to improve. I always tell people when I interview them at pizza shop, you don't have to know how to make pizza. You don't have to be good at making pizza. As long as you're willing to learn and get better. I don't know if he's willing to get better. I tell you what, though, it ain't just with the NIL. My daughter's a lifeguard, 15 years old, making $15.50 an hour, and she's flexing her paychecks on me. Yeah, I mean, that's another whole serious government conversation with minimum wage and stuff like that. I can't find employees to work in my pizza shop. No 15-year-old kid on their first job should be making $15.50 an hour. No offense. It's ruining small businesses. Who's paying it when their kids get millions in college? Businesses are. Schools are. I'm okay with them making money. The NCAA has been making bank off of it. Absolutely. But I think there's also got to be more rules on it. Maybe. They call it a teal push-on shirt. I have a Eagles tush push shirt. Tag's still on. I probably won't wear it. It says push on. And it's a picture. It's a Fanatic shirt. It's got a picture of a tush push happening. And it says push on it. All right? It's a tush push shirt. I'll give it away to somebody if we reach my goal. NIL is not a good or bad thing. The way it is not properly managed is the issue. Yeah, I don't even know the full rule book on the NIL. I never see the Eagles losing more than 2 games in a row. Sirianni and Hurts won't allow it. Absolutely. 1,000%, Adam. This team will never go on a long playoff drought or win drought. NIL should have a hard salary cap, tiered payments by production and winning percentage. Yeah. There should be something. Orlando, Indy, New York, Detroit are all young. And I think you would remove that comment, so I think there's more to that. One more Super Bowl, and we've caught the commies, and we'll be 2 behind the Cowgirls. Yeah. Absolutely. Rutgers had 2 supposed stars on the team this past year and couldn't even get there. I don't even think they were 500. I think they lost more games than they won, Rick. That's a problem. The competition in the East are younger, longer, and more athletic than the run-it-back Sixers. Absolutely. So, yes, in theory, Daryl Morey sees the picture, that the story of the Eastern Conference. But on the flip side, they don't got the – you watch the NBA Finals. It's Game 6 tonight or tomorrow? Probably tomorrow. I mean, you got to wait 7 days in between every game in the goddamn NBA Finals. If you watch it, I was watching Game 5 of the NBA Finals. I'd be like, the Sixers are years away, decades away, from even having the mindset on how to build a team to compete with these athletes. It's not a half-court NBA anymore. You can't win. Well, Jokic proves this theory wrong. But you can't win a title with a Joel Embiid as your number 1 anymore. Clemson will be fun next season. Will they? I don't know. Riley comes in last minute and goes birdie to start his day. What? Davis Riley filling in for Brian Campbell, who withdrew. Okay, gotcha. I love those guys. The last-second additions, the alternates in a golf field. They always come out hot. No pressure, right? I mean, it's huge for Riley, getting an addition to a elevated event and that big paycheck, even if he finishes in last place. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. A lot of complaining about WWIP and the dial this week. Well, there are alternatives, like the STT Sports Network and Trending in the AM. The way we do this is you hit like, share, subscribe, you vote on our poll. And we won't always agree on opinions. But you know what we will do? We will discuss all opinions in a fair way. Rick and I never agree on certain things. But you know what? We always discuss it. Ranger Suarez looked great last night. I will say the big takeaway, 2 big takeaways from last night's game, Phillies game. Phillies won 4-2 last night. Big home run for Bryson Stott. Good for his confidence. 2 takeaways from the Phillies game, Rick, last night. 1, I still think the Phillies need to make a decision on a closer now. Go get one now. Matt Strahm is not a closer. That's takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2 is Nick Castellanos may have had some angels in the outfield helping him make that catch to end the game. And he made that catch to be a giant beep to Rob Thompson. Like, yo, you want a defensive replacement, me? I'm going to make a jumping catch to save a game. You had to know that was going to happen, right? They're comparing Flagg to Christian Laettner. And that's a perfectly fine NBA career to have. Cooper Flagg, Christian Laettner. I think it's probably being the comparison because they're both white. They're both shooters, and they're both from Duke. I don't know if that's where it ends or not, but, whatever. But the thing is, Cooper Flagg is not going to be a generational talent. We do agree sometimes. Your kids finally have to pay a lot more on first job to pay them college sports guys. Look, it's annoying. I got a kid coming in for an interview today at 10:30. I know he's going to want $1 million an hour. Never had a job before. Your first job should not be $15 an hour. You should learn and earn that $15 an hour. When Trea and Schwartz go combined 0 for 9 at the plate, we still win. Shows his team can win in all ways. It's the Marlins. It's a guy that given up almost as many runs as innings pitched in his whole entire MLB career. So I don't take much away from the win in theory last night. It was a game they should have won, no matter what. Orion should have worked the ninth last night. Absolutely agree. I still think Orion Kirkring can be a closer. Not sure if I'm ready to experiment at this point with it, but they need to get another bullpen arm immediately. I don't know why you let him close the game the other game and then not last night. It doesn't make sense to me. I like Matt Strahm. Matt Strahm is not a closer. He just isn't. NBA draft super mediocre this year. Trade the pick. You're just going to keep saying it, and that's fine. Give me another. I gave you a trade scenario, Rick. You keep saying trade the pick to get off this guy, but you haven't given me any scenario that financially works yet. I've given you one. Paul George in 3 for 5, Colin Sexton and John Collins. 2 expiring contracts. You get off of Paul George, and you drop back 2. Give me something that financially works. How do we only have 10 likes? 31 minutes in this show. We've been pushing 18, 19 viewers most of this show. Talking about something that's not even in the description or title of the show. But please like, share, subscribe. Vote on the poll. 10 likes, 13 votes. Come on. You have to run Kirk out there for the 9th every chance you get when it's June. You don't want to try to see in September. Absolutely. They should have been doing this from the moment Jose Alvarado got suspended. I don't think enough hate over the last couple of weeks while the bullpen has continued to struggle has gone Jose Alvarado's way. And how he was a big, giant middle finger to this organization and this team. Where's Mitchie Poo, by the way, when you need him? Right now on the poll, are you confident the Eagles will repeat as Super Bowl champions? Yes, has 69% of the votes. I should just end the poll right there for Mitchie Poo. Yes, I get this, Tim. But the thing is, we should already know by now, Tim, if Kirk could do it or not. Because they should have been trotting him out there for a while now. Okay? And they haven't. We keep bouncing around. All the times we trotted Corky Romano out there to close over the last month. It shouldn't have been. It should have been Kirk. So now here we are on June 19th, and we still don't know if he could be a consistent closer or not. As long as the 76ers can get out of at least one of those horrendous contracts, that's a win. Again, you've got to give me ideas, theories. You got to bring some substance to your opinion. Give me something. And beat in 3 for the Greek Freak. See, I don't think the Greek Freak and Paul George would work on the same team first and foremost. The Greek Freak is tired of being in Milwaukee because they can't get over the hump anymore. And that organization. Why would the Greek Freak want to be here in this disaster of an organization? In theory, it works. But in theory, I don't think it changes a thing with the Sixers. That's the thing. Mitchie Poo, you're is obviously not voting on the poll as long as he can. I knew I'd say his name and he'd appear. Somebody please vote on the poll so those percentages can change. So Phil don't think the kids need $15 for a job, but once college ball players make, I didn't say I want them making $15 million. Didn't say that. But they're getting a piece of the puzzle. NCAA's been making billions of dollars off their names and likenesses for years. You make me money, I'll pay you $15 an hour. Kirk showed when he came up that he can handle pressure. He's handled all that has been placed in front of him. Tell him it's 9th and 3 outs every chance he'd be fine. Yeah, I mean, I think he can do it. I don't know he can do it, but I think like you that he can do it. I said when he got called up at the end of 23 that he had closer mentality and closer stuff. They needed some refining that he got last year. This year should have been his job as soon as Alvarado got suspended. Absolutely. And by now, when Jose Alvarado got suspended, from then to now, we would have enough information to say yes or no he can handle the job. But he hasn't. Since the Phillies started 13-13, they've gone 32-17. You can pull out any section of the season to make up a theory. I mean, they lost 9 out of 10. They had a 10-game stretch. So, whatever. Time to stop burying this team every chance you get. This team is legit. Who's burying the team today? I don't think anybody has said one negative thing about the team. I don't think there's been one negative comment about the Phillies other than their decision not to have a consistent closer. Outside of that, nobody said one negative thing. More about the management of the players than the team. Kirkin struggled early on. I think if you do his splits, I forget, sometime in early May, from the start of the year to early May, from that point in early May to now, night and day statistically speaking on a Ryan Kirkin. Topper doesn't have a 7th and 8th and 9th inning guy. You know, you still hear a reliever say this. They like to know when that phone rings in whatever inning it is that they know that's their spot. Relief pitchers are weird, quirky mindsets in sports. They like to know they're the 7th inning guy, or 2 runs down in the 7th or 8th inning, or 2 runners on, 7th, 8th inning in a close game. I'm that high leverage guy. I'm always going to be up in the 8th. I'm always going to be up in the 9th. Ryan Madsen 8th, Casey Romero the 7th, Brad Lidge the 9th. Every single game. Relievers like that. I don't want my future daughter paying for sports ball salaries in college. Well, you know, even Rick can understand that. Yep. Phillies suck according to Pumpman. Well, there's finally the first negative comment. And we've got another vote on the poll, so we're up to 71% yes. Good. I don't know if the Phillies suck. The Phillies are a good baseball team. Their record says they're a very good baseball team. Will they win a World Series like the Eagles will a Super Bowl? That's a question to be determined. What I fear is what Topper did in the playoffs last year. Flip the pen on its head. That needs to stop. The bullpen in sports, more than anything, needs consistency in how it's operated and ran. Now, injuries happen. Suspension shouldn't, but they do happen. It is what it is. But yeah, giving roles, specific roles to every bullpen arm is so important. Phillies bullpen or 76ers, what's the question there? What is the question? Do I prefer one over the other? What's more of a disaster than the other? Which one's more fixable than the other? You got to give me a more detailed question there on how I'm answering that. Thompson doesn't do the specific inning relievers. He overanalyzes and tries to outsmart the game. He's not good. Well, we agree on that, on Rob Thompson. Although I do have a new sense of enjoyment and and appreciation for Rob Thompson. How he handled the Nick Castellanos situation this week. I love it. Now, Rob Thompson's finally gotten on my good side because of that. The same loser living in his mom's basement as Josh Johnson. Which is better, the Phillies bullpen or the Sixers? I don't know. They're both questionable. We'll phrase it this way: the Sixers have more talent, but come up short. The Phillies have less talent, and that's why they come up short in the bullpen. We don't need any more polls. We got a poll going. Are you confident the Eagles will repeat Super Bowl champions? 71% say yes. 14% say no, which is just ridiculous. Meaning 2 people voted no. And Go Freaking Birds got 2 votes. How about that? Thompson doesn't like emotion. The teams has followed his lead. They have none. They're lollygaggers. I mean, I haven't used the word lollygagging in a while. But yes. But I think Rob Thompson shows some emotion by standing up for that situation, whatever the situation was. There's rumors he said something inappropriate. There's rumors it was about a player. Rumors it was about, he made fun of Tim Hortons coffee. There's lots of rumors on what was said. whatever it was, Rob Thompson took a stand, and I love it. This is where Daryl Morey could take a stand. You know what? F this. It's not working. We're going to do something different. F this. You don't want to come here, Ace Bailey? We're not drafting you. Wonder how many other teams have 7th, 8th, or 9th inning closers. I mean, there's probably quite a few. I know it's from, but it's a phrase I've used for decades. I just haven't used it in a long time. It's a word, not a phrase. I've called people lollygaggers for a long time. Long, long time. Let's see where we're at numbers-wise on this show so far. We're at 12 likes. We're still stuck at 12 likes, but 17 people watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go. Vote on the poll. Again, we're talking Sixers NBA draft because it's Ace Bailey news. We're talking Phillies winning 4-2. Can they take game 3 out of 4 against the Marlins? But it's 11 weeks away from opening kickoff. And I'm excited. Knowing that we're 77 days away. Something about that 77 days away just puts football front and center in my mind. And if you're not confident, the 2 people that voted no on confidence, why? If you're not confident that the Eagles can repeat, what's holding you back? Thompson isn't leading the team. He gets by because they're talented. Baseball version of Doc Rivers or Nick Nurse. Look, I've said similar things like that before in the past. 1,000%. You're not saying anything here that I've not ever said. Exactly, K1. There are a bunch of if there's 17 people watching and only 12 likes, that's lollygag. We get these little bumps where we gain 5 or 6 in a day or two, and then we just go stagnant. You know, all we've heard all week, I don't know if you're on Twitter, K1, but all we heard all week on Twitter is how much WIP sucks and the Fanatics sucks and the hot take artists are getting over the top. More Jalen Hurts hate going on out there. But yet people will still tune in. People forget there are alternatives. Stop the fight, King. That man has a family. What? Who? What? Sorry. I think Topper gets too much a bad rap about his personality. Sometimes the quiet ones get their points across without shouting and screaming. When he gets loud and it hits harder. And that's what I kind of said, something similar to that with the Nick Castellanos thing. Him making a stance like that on a star, on a guy that had 236 game consecutive played streak, is a moment that can really push this team over the top. Bring this team closer together. Did Nick Nurse or Daryl Morey ever do anything like that? Doc Rivers with the Sixers? Nick Sirianni leads differently. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He gets fired up. He'll hug you. He'll cry. He'll rip you apart. Rob Thompson doesn't do that. But when he does say something, it makes it that much more impactful, in my opinion. And I love that. Have I ever heard of JR? JR who? JR Ryder? Jim Ross? What does JR stand for? Who are you talking about? I don't know. Stop the fight, King. I don't know what we're going on here. I don't get the reference. It's over my head. It's beyond my realm of expertise. JR. Who's JR? Thinking about who was the basketball player? It was the pot smoker guy. The guy who always looked high. Played for the Knicks. Wasn't he a JR? I don't know. Anyway. Ace Bailey cancels his visit to Philadelphia. Is that good or bad for the Sixers? Does that get the Sixers out of making a bad decision? Does Daryl Morey bypass it and still make the bad decision? But more importantly, who's giving him this bad advice? Who's not coaching him along. Oh, so it is Jim Ross talking to the King, Jerry the King Lawler. Stop the fight, King. That man has a family. Okay. Sorry that I didn't pick up on 1990s wrestling reference, poorly typed out. That doesn't make sense. Edgecombe Johnson Knuppel would be better than Bailey for the team. I don't know if I'm saying Knuppel. Knuppel or Knuppel. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I think I can pronounce Johnson pretty easily. It definitely seems like the Sixers have interest in VJ Edgecombe. And he is gaining steam amongst the reporters and the fan base that he's the right pick. Now, I think at 3, Knuppel might be a reach. You trade back to 5 or 6, sure. Edgecombe, you could justify at 3, for sure. I don't know about the other 2. Why did Bailey cancel? We don't know for sure. The reports are out there saying that he wants some form of guarantee to go to a city. I don't know what that guarantee is. He doesn't want to come here unless it's 100% sure we're drafting him, I guess. He's got this inflated ego that he's greater than he is, that is above the draft, that he could choose. He wants to, it's been reported, go to Charlotte, D.C., or Utah. Probably because he knows he can get away with losing in those cities. He's showing a lot of immaturity by canceling, which a lot of 18-year-olds are immature. And put millions of dollars in an 18-year-old hand, they're definitely immature. Whoever's leading his team is failing him. 1,000%, Adam. But why did he cancel? He didn't want to come here? If he wasn't told, I guarantee you'll be our draft pick? How can you guarantee a player before you meet with them that you're going to draft him? Before you meet him, before you learn the personality, before you know if he's good, before you know if his personality will fit with the team, whether his skill set, the drills you run him through, fits with what you need stylistically, how can you guarantee anything? Unless you're a once-in-a-lifetime generational type player. How can you guarantee anything? And he wants guarantees. If we drafted, I'm sorry, who? There ain't no way that's a real name. There ain't be no way that that's a real name. I can't even, there's no way there's that many letters in one person's last name. That would be a poll question. If that was real. There's no way that's real. He wants to go to cities because he won't have pressure there. He will be able to just be just like at Rutgers in those cities. Ball is in his hand in losses. That's a loser's mentality. And again, Steve, I said this before. Howie Roseman fixed the Eagles by doing what? Stop drafting players from losing organizations in college. Go get the Alabamas. Go get the Georgia Bulldogs. Go get the Clemson guys. Go get the guys from winning college programs. Okay? That have proven that they can win. And that's what Daryl Morey needs to do. Go get the Duke kid. Not Cooper Flagg, the other one. Go get winners from winning organizations that have taught to be mature and be winners. That's what you do. He's a guard. I still think you might have added like 12 extra letters just to make it more complicated. Or that's his first and last name, and you purposely didn't put a space in between. There's no way anybody's got 75 letters in their last name. There's just no way. For 3 years, Bailey could learn players and develop while they wait out the bad contract. Could, but he doesn't want to. He wants to be the man. Normally, to be the man, you got to beat the man. But Ace Bailey just wants to be the chosen one. You want a reference, wrestling reference. He thinks he's got all the stroke around here. He don't. Going to winning college programs because there's also a culture of winning and preparedness that is required to win. Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't go play at Duke basketball If you're not going to buy into their team first mentality, you look at the Eagles, it's all team, no individuals. Okay? You don't go to Duke and worry about how many shots you take. That's just not the way it works. In football, you go to Alabama when Nick Saban was there, it's Nick Saban's way or the highway. No egos. Ace says Ben Simmons. Well, I mean, I've heard people say this even before last night or this morning, whenever this news came out. I'd heard this before. But seeing these actions of him canceling the visit because of some kind of a guarantee he wanted, it's ludicrous. It makes it just like it. I'm waiting for a Instagram post of him with sneakers. So he was supposed to fly into Philly tonight, have dinner with the team, and then practice tomorrow. Run drills tomorrow, right? Work out tomorrow. I fully expect Ace Bailey to post an Instagram picture of him working out in some random YMCA gym tomorrow, just like Ben Simmons, right? Too many players don't learn to develop past high school because of the one-and-done college year. If they had to stay minimum 3 years, they'd develop. Sure, absolutely. I mean, saying high school kids couldn't go out into the pros is exactly what created the one-and-done problem. I didn't like the idea of forcing them to go to college for 1 year. I mean, now you go to – actually, they got rid of that G League team, right? If you didn't want to go to college, you could go to that G League team. I forget what was called. The Fabulous Moolah is a dinosaur, JR. Yeah. I was giving random JR and King references. I hope him canceling the meeting makes Maury motivated to deal this pick. I think they could do that. I think that it opens his eyes a little bit to the situation in front of him. He's got to be getting creative, Daryl Moore, at this point. He's got to be watching the NBA Finals and say, how can I get younger and more athletic? You're purposely not putting spaces in names. Because I know his last name is Maluch. All right? Why? Because it's similar. Mooch is a name of a character in a TV show. So Maluch, it just made me think of the TV show. So I know this guy's name. You're just purposely meshing the names together to make them look longer, to confuse me. I know your train of thought, K1. I know what you're doing on the show. Somebody better call my mama. The Funkasaurus. You want to go to the Funkasaurus? And the Funkadactyls or whatever they called Naomi and Cameron. Hornets always stink when we know that. Bailey's agent is Omar Cooper, the CEO and founder of Lifestyle Sports Agency. Okay? Thanks for that information. That doesn't give me too much information, but at least I know who to look into. Who else, Mitchie Poo, does Omar represent? Omar's a coming. Does he represent other troublemakers? Does he represent other busts? Does he represent any superstars that have had success? Give me a little bit more details here. Maluch is a prototypical old school center. How's the last one worked out for the Sixers? The league is going towards positionless ball. Yeah. Now, see, the thing is, I think you can have a semi-traditional center in the NBA, Tim, still. As long as it's a center that isn't trying to be the number one scoring option on the team. As long as the offense doesn't run through that person. As long as you're a guy that's just grabbing rebounds, playing defense, and putting back dunks on rebounds. I think you can still win with a 7-foot behemoth at the middle. You still need to play defense. The problem with Joel Embiid is that he wants it all through him. I've given you a few. You just haven't picked up on them. It just tells you that Bailey would not survive in a large media environment. I think that's a big him wanting to go to Washington or Charlotte or Utah is exactly the reason. He doesn't want to do Cure Auto commercials, or Cure Auto insurance commercials. He wants to do something else. He doesn't want the media in his face. He doesn't want to be held accountable for his actions. Embiid would be better served to stay healthy if he played center and stopped trying to be a guard. Absolutely. And that's no breaking news. I said it before last season, before we knew he was going to miss most of the season. That Embiid needed to accept being the number 2 or number 3 scoring option. Turn it over to T.J. McConnell. Cooper is also known for representing his children. Sharif Cooper, former Auburn player, and Tay Cooper, WNBA player. He previously represented Isaac Okoro. So not a long list of big names that he's represented. So small-timer, Ace Bailey, went out and got a small-timer's agent that doesn't have experience representing superstars. Obviously giving him some bad advice. This Ace Bailey situation, the way it's playing out, is not going to grow your agency, that's for sure. Just saying. Got to be better, right? If Ace Bailey's parents had any brain cells, they'd be like, yo, is there an out of this contract? Let's find you better representation. You're already looking like a dope out there. Patty Bernard, a.k.a. the Gobbler. What is up, my man? It's been a minute since we've seen you on the show. We're talking Ace Bailey backing out of the Sixers. We're talking Phillies. We're talking, are you counting the Eagles will repeat as Super Bowl champions? Because, yes, we are 11 weeks away. 77 days away from kickoff, baby. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. There should be like 15, 20 likes on this video. I know there's not, but please like, please share, please subscribe, and please vote on the poll, guys. We got lots of content rolling today. We got lots of things happening today. Next week, we've got the draft on Wednesday. Sean Bernard will be on Wednesday morning to preview what's going to happen. Thursday, Dives will be on to recap what happened. I've locked in 2 other guests for July. Pretty big names for this show. You want to like and share, but you'll want to subscribe. You don't want to miss any of these guests I got lined up. Maybe it wasn't the manager. Then maybe he'd be pissed but can't throw their client under the bus. Maybe. Pat loves a poll too. Pat and Mitchie Poo are one and the same. Give me your 3 breakouts for the Eagles this year. My 3 breakout stars for the Eagles this year. Number 1, no hesitation, Jalen Hurts. And I've said this before. Jalen Hurts is already a superstar. But Jalen Hurts is going to perform at an MVP level and be in the conversation for MVP this year. Which makes him, because he's only been in the top voting for MVP once, him almost or winning the MVP is a breakout for him. Breakout star, numero dos, Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander is going to be a force to reckon with on this defense. All right? And let's see, breakout star number 3. Let's be a little different here. Let me think about this. Who will be breakout star numero 3? That's 3. Give me Jordan Davis, who's finally going to realize his full potential and become the star he needs to be. So Jalen Hurts, Jaire Alexander, and Jordan Davis. They're my 3 breakouts. And that may change tomorrow if you ask me again. I have Eagles football that I'm going to raffle off for autism, charity Eagles Autism, autographed by 2 Super Bowl champions. Stay tuned. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well today. I like it. Jordan Davis, breakout star. Trot Jr., breakout season. Ojulari, Jordan Davis, Dotson. So, Jordan Davis, we agree on. John Dotson only really breaks out if somebody gets hurt in the wide receiver core. He might play well, but he might get some more looks. But, yeah, Ojulari's tricky for me because up to OTAs. The final OTA, was it last week, the mandatory one? Up to that point, Ojulari, to me, was the third best edge on this team, and I predict it would be third on this team in sacks this season. But then you hear Lane Johnson talking and others talking about Joshua. Don't call me Uche. And hyping him up. And Uche did have 12.5 sacks just a couple seasons ago. So maybe we're forgetting about Uche. But Ojulari is my pick over Uche at this point. I agree, Big Al. Jordan Davis is going to have a huge season. He's got to. He's got to have a huge season. I love this. Close to all-pro level for Jordan Davis. Sure. Give me all that. I'm all for it. Give me just a little bit more time. What? Cooper DeJean. Can he break out? I mean, he's already broken out pretty big. I think some sites have him better than some sites have him higher than Quinion Mitchell. You know what's special about Cooper DeJean? When you're talked about as the starting slot corner, but I'm going to find a way to make you the outside corner if I have to, and if I need to, I'm going to put you at safety. When your defense coordinator says, you're the nickel guy, you're the slot guy, but I will make sure you play 100% of snaps to keep you on the field all the time, no matter where I got to put you on the field. That tells me what the coach thinks of your talent. Dotson has a whole year in the system to be a 3. He's learned more and can prove. Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw for approximately 500 or 600 more yards than he did last year. Some of that will go to A.J. Devontae. Some will go to Dallas Goedert. Some of it will go to Dotson. So he absolutely can have a really good season. And he needs it because it's the last year of his contract, too. Would you like Asante Samuel Jr. on the Eagles? Been rumored. Yeah, I mean, I don't see the Eagles bringing anybody in until mid-August. They're going to roll with what they got and see what they got. Okay? But it's kind of a Howie move, right? A guy that's been injured a lot, hasn't lived up to the hype because of the injuries, not because of the talent. You bring him in. You let him work with our coaches and see if you can turn his career around. If you can get him on a cheap 1-year prove-it deal, Mitchie Poo, absolutely okay with them bringing in Asante Samuel Jr. And obviously, we've already had one Samuel here before. Davis, he gets that health under control, can be great. Well, he keeps getting under control. It's can he maintain the conditioning? Exactly. Cooper already broke out. Cooper is a stud, right? Hurts will have more trust in Dotson this season, I think, as well. That's possible as well, for sure. If Hurts doesn't miss the 3 games, he's over 37 on the year last year. Maybe. That means 800 more yards in 3 games. Maybe. He wasn't really passing the ball. Maybe he gets to 32 or 33 on her, but I don't know about that. Sidney Brown, I don't know. When I put together my list of Eagles roster bubbles, I have contemplated putting Sidney Brown even on that list. I want Sidney Brown to be good. I like Sidney Brown. But I don't know. I think Andrew Makuba wins that starting job. And if he does, that's a problem. If they bring in Justin Simmons, which I don't think they do, but if they do, Sidney Brown's gone at some point. Yeah, remember, you got Sidney Brown, but you also got Andrew Makuba, Reed Blankenship, Tristan McCollum, Andrew Seen. Did I say it right, K1? Seen? I wanted to say sign, but I said seen by mistake. There's 4 other guys. Then you bring in Justin Simmons. If they do that, that's another guy. They average 4 safeties coming out of camp most years. And he didn't have to have 3,700 yards, Barb. Why? Because Saquon Barkley had one of the greatest running back seasons in the history of the NFL. And that's why. I think Jalen Hurts is more than capable of throwing for 3,600 yards in a regular season. More than capable. And he's going to have to for this team to succeed this year. Because teams are going to stack the box against Saquon more and more. Saquon's going to get used a little bit less. Jalen Hurts is going to have to step up his passing game. And he's more than capable of it. I mean, he'll start an MVP voting in 2022. Through 11 weeks in 2023, he was the He was the betting favorite to win it. He can be an MVP quarterback and throw the ball. You just don't have to. Saquon breakout year numero dos. Another 2K coming for Saquon Barkley. That's a bold prediction. I know he wants it. I think he even said he wants it. I just don't know if I can see 2K again for Saquon. Oops, wrong way. Breakout season for Cooper looks like 5 interceptions and an all-pro. Well, he's not going to have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson knocking balls out of everybody's hands again. So Q and Coop could get some more interceptions. The bar for a quarterback these days is 4K at least. Why? Who says the bar has to be 4K? To me, the bar for a quarterback these days should be Super Bowl championships, leading your team, doing whatever is necessary to win. He was tops in the league in deep ball, efficiency last year. Their offensive passing was like 28th or 29th overall, but they're, based off of passing plays, they were a top 12 passing team based off a percentage of snaps using the pass. Okay? They chose not to pass. That's why their passing stats were down. If they choose to pass, sure. And he's the number one deep thrower of the football. Passes over 20 yards. Jalen Hurts was number one in success rate. How can I believe that in the Sixers, when their front office still thinks last year's big three can bring Philly a championship, when the league is now run by young guns and not old names? Yeah, look, we talked about this earlier in the show, Patty. And I'm not saying I agree with this, okay? Not saying I agree with this, okay? Just saying what probably is going through Daryl Morey's mind right now. That Boston's going to be without Tatum, and they're trying to sell off assets because they're going to skip a year. Milwaukee is trying to get rid of Giannis, okay? Indiana's a talented team, but they're a team, they don't have any stars. So you can, in theory, beat them. Orlando's still pretty young. He's thinking like, oh shit, the East is wide open. We run it back, we can win. That's probably what he's thinking. 36, not 37. Barkley can't hit 2K again because teams will be focusing on him. They're going to be focusing in on him, okay? And they're going to use him a little less. Both those things. So I don't expect Barkley. That's a bold prediction for him to go back-to-back 2K yards. There's a reason why that's never happened in the NFL. We got 19 votes on our poll, but only 15 likes on this video, guys. So please, in these final 20 minutes, if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe. And continue voting on the poll as well. Are you confident the Eagles will repeat as champions? Where 74% say yes, 16% say no, and 11% say go frickin' birds. Which I love that. How does go frickin' birds have less votes than no, they won't repeat? What's up with that? There's a reference quote for you, okay? Because that's what we do. We drop reference quotes, wrestling quotes for you there, TMZ. You just don't pick up on them all the time. This whole Ace Bailey situation with the Sixers and this whole Sixers offseason just reeks of ugliness. Reeks of stinking, okay? But you know what? I don't care how much of a disaster the Sixers offseason is because the Eagles make everything so much better. Teams were focusing on Barkley last season already. Eagles wide receivers core with Saquon and Hurts' ability to run will be the same thing this year. Yeah. But, I mean, you saw what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. They extra focused on stopping Barkley and said we're going to let Jalen Hurts beat us. And guess what happened? Jalen Hurts threw dagger after dagger and beat them. So I think you're going to see teams early in the season take the Chiefs' path. Now, when Jalen Hurts comes out and plays at MVP level those first 4 or 5 weeks and beats him with his arm, then maybe they have to back off and stop and Saquon, and that's when Saquon gets going. Eagles' defense will be better than last season. I think it's going to have some hiccups early in the season, Tim. There's going to be a learning curve with this defense. I think it will finish top 3 or 4, but it's not going to be a top 3 defense to start the year. That's just my opinion. But what do I know? Ace Bailey wanted a promise from the Sixers before agreeing to meet. Yeah, what? But what? Who's telling him you got to get a promise before you visit a team? Why does he need promises from 4 different teams? He's already gotten promises from Utah, Washington, and the Charlotte. How many promises do you need? You're a kid coming off a losing season in college. Get the fook out of here with these promises. Get the fook out of here thinking you're better than anybody else, that you're above everybody else. Ace Bailey, you're a bum. Immature bum. With a healthy, engaged Embiid, the Sixers can't beat anyone. Without Embiid, they're 5 seed. Yeah, I mean, in theory, even with the league changing, if Joe Embiid plays 65 games, 60 games, 55 games, and it's healthy, yeah, they could beat anybody. Question is, can he? Not every team has the Chiefs' defense. And Chiefs' defense, we still put up over 40 points, though, too. So, yeah. That is what it is. But I have full confidence in it. I promise. What is he? A 16-year-old in a romantic? He's a 16-year-old in a 90s rom-com comedy teenage drama movie. What was that? Not another teen movie. He's the quarterback played by Chris Evans in that. Like, really? What in the world is going on here? More teams are equipped to play in a shootout than in a defensive battle. That's why I say Rush for 2K is possible. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it likely? No. There's a reason why. Congested here out of nowhere. There's a reason why it's ever happened before, Steve. Bailey is a high ceiling guy. He's not one of the top 7 players right now. He could be the best, but can't make demands like, yeah. He could be a top guy, but he's got to put the work in to do that. He's got to show some humility, some humbleness, but he's not. He thinks he already is a top guy, and he's not. And it shows his immaturity. And like I said early in the show, Tim, I mean, most 18-year-olds are pretty damn immature. Pretty damn immature. But when you've got agents and coaches and presumptively parents boosting your ego more than it should instead of humbling you, leading you in a wrong direction, ruining your image right from the get-go, that's a problem. Well, this is a different angle to take. Mitchie Poo loves his confidence. I don't know if I love that confidence. What did he ever do to back that confidence up, Mitchie Poo? That's my question. To be that confident, you better damn well have made a Final Four at a minimum. Led your team to a Final Four. I mean, let's think about it. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey were on that team together, and they did not make the tournament. So why are you confident? You don't hear Dylan Harper out here making demands. You don't. Big difference. He has more confidence than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid still thinks he's the best player in the NBA. Yeah, I saw this Adam Schefter doing some golf reporting today, play-by-play. That's interesting. I got to tune into that. I got to see what happens with that. Adam Schefter going golf. You know, they already brought an NFL person in to run the PGA Tour. Might as well bring an NFL reporter in to report on the PGA Tour. Why not, right? Davis Riley, 3 under so far. I had to check some golf scores here real quick. 3 under through 5. Got in 5 minutes ago. And Wyndham Clark, of course, early on, birdied the first hole. Bazoodenhook, K1, 1 over through 2 holes in last place right now. Yeah, there we go. Not many golfers on the course. Is it confidence or arrogance? I think that's a fair question in the Ace Bailey situation. Confidence or arrogance? Could be a little bit of both. I think arrogance comes from his team, his management team, building his confidence up too far. I think confidence and arrogance kind of go together. Are the Thunder playing tonight? I mean, they normally take 16 days off in between every NBA Finals game, so I can't keep track of when they play. But is tonight game 6? No. I think Pacers win and force game 7. I think Thunder in 7 is the way it'll play out. Sure, that's what I'll go with. That is what I'll go with. Because why not? Why not be the difference? Most people think that the Thunder will win tonight, and they probably will. But I'll push for the Pacers tonight. If Halliburton doesn't play, I know he's had a bad scoring finals, but if he doesn't play tonight, then that gives the Thunder. I forgot about that. I mean, I know Tyrese Halliburton's played terribly or scored terribly in the finals, but he is a big part of that team. Maybe means T.J. McConnell starts tonight and leads the Pacers to Game 7. I'm still rooting for T.J. McConnell and Gio Okafor to get those rings. Because why not? Why wouldn't I root for them? T.J. McConnell's what the Sixers lack. But instead, don't worry. We'll bring back Kyle Lowry. All right? Kyle Lowry. Instead of what we need. Ridiculous. Guys, we're coming up to the final 10 minutes of the show. So final thoughts on Ace Bailey, get them in. Final thoughts, are you confident the Eagles will repeat? Final thoughts, will the Phillies win Game 4 against the Marlins tonight? And who wins tonight's NBA Finals? Those are the final topics. You guys got 10 minutes to ramble off your final thoughts. And please, in those final 10 minutes, if you haven't, hit that like button, share button, and subscribe button, and vote on the poll. We're up to 21 votes. Yes has dropped to 67%. No is at 19%. So we're at 4 people out of 21 voted no, they're not confident the Eagles will repeat as champions. 3 people said go freaking Birds. It's going 7 because nothing else sports-wise will be on Sunday night. ABC and ESPN needed to go 7. It's fair because the NBA is rigged, right? The NBA is rigged as rigged can be, right? Sure. I think I can get behind that. I think I can get behind Steve's thought process here. I do. I think I can get behind this. Why not, right? Why not? Will the Phillies win tonight? Obviously, we got Christopher Sanchez going for the Phillies against Edward Cabrera, pitcher for the Marlins, who's 2-2, 4.10 ERA, 1.46 WHIP. Strikes out a decent amount of batters, over nine per inning, or 9.0 Ks per 9 inning. Phillies should win tonight. They need to win tonight. They need to be able to say they took 3 from the Marlins. Because then we've got the Mets this weekend. Sunday night baseball. Who's saying there's nothing on ESPN? There's Sunday night baseball, Phillies versus Mets, right? NBA is more rigged than the NFL, which is rigged via the writer's room. Absolutely. The NBA is rigged by Adam Silver doing whatever he wants, basically. We're talking Sixers with this Ace Bailey stuff. I still could care less about the NBA at this point. The NBA has lost me as a real, true, diehard fan. Mainly because of the Sixers. I know, we can't gain any this week. We start the week at 5:40. We're still at 5:40. I've done shorts. I've done shows. I've pumped the content out. I've complained about how everybody complains about WIP. And that there's alternatives. And here we are, still stuck at 5:40. Why? Because nobody loves me. NBA needs a better writer's room. Absolutely. Absolutely. Marsha, I agree. I'll never forgive Adam Silver for the Colangelo Hinkie situation. I won't. It was the end of the era. It was the end of the process immediately. It immediately spelled the end. Sam Hinkie's never gotten another job. Talk about collusion in sports. Sam Hinkie never got another opportunity. Daryl Morey gets opportunity after opportunity. Sam Hinkie gets nothing. Well, thank you, Mitchie Poo. I love you too. Sam Hinkie walked, so Sam Hinkie crawled, so Sam Presti could walk. Sam Presti just copied Sam Hinkie's model, except for the fact that Sam Presti didn't put the process and tanking on T-shirts. Sam Presti just never bragged about tanking. If Sam Hinkie would have just kept his mouth shut, Sam Hinkie might still be the GM of this team. We might have an NBA championship. One thing's for sure. Sam Hinkie, this offseason, would have no problem trading away Paul George and Joel Embiid to get off those contracts. He'd be able to get us out of this mess. Daryl Morey should be fired. Sam Hinkie should be rehired to fix this mess. I'd be all in on a return of Sam Hinkie to fix this mess, even if it means another process error. I'd be all for Sam Hinkie taking over the Sixers. Why not? Stephen A. Smith lobbied every day on First Take to get Sam Hinkie fired, and he should never have another job in the NBA. I will never forgive Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is just a crumb bum, right? I'm sure Stephen A. Smithers had no problem with what the Thunder did. He's probably drooling all over the Thunder right now. He's also the one that hates LeBron James and openly admits it. Hinkie didn't get a chance to finish the vision, but he killed it on trade. He was a great guy at trading. He actually drafted fairly well, too. I don't think his drafts were awful. Yeah, they didn't all work out, but they weren't awful drafts. Only Hinkie can get us through this mess process. Let's start it. Let's start a bring back Hinkie campaign, Marshawn. If the four of us start pushing for it, it'll gain steam in no time, right? You know what's crazy is Sam Hinkie never even really has spoken about it. Like he's just gone, underground. He's living in a bunker somewhere. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't do press. He doesn't talk to the media. He does nothing. When was the last time anybody spoke to Sam Hinkie? I mean, I would love it. Mitchie Poo, I would love it. It's what this team lacks is T.J. McConnell. I think the Pacers gave him a long-term deal, right? So I don't think that's even possible. We need to start a bring back Sam Hinkie campaign. Stephen A. is also quick to say he's a Philadelphian because he worked at the Inquirer. That's the reason for caring. Yeah. Get Stephen A. Smith out of here. Is it another one that could go away? And I would never worry about it. Hinkie walked. I said he crawled so Presti could walk. But yeah, he walked so they could run. Absolutely. Again, the only difference between what Hinkie did and others do is he monetized tanking. Plain and simple. Which, you know what? Isn't that a smart thing to do? Make your business money while it's tanking? Silver hated that he had to deal with Hinkie instead of being able to parade himself around the league after waiting to be commissioned, I guess. Isaiah Joe stinks, by the way. T.J. McConnell would have 1,000% called out Ben and Joel. Jimmy loved T.J. because he was a stand-up guy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe T.J. McConnell. I mean, Joel played a little differently with T.J. McConnell. He was a guy that held people accountable. I mean, the Indiana Pacers don't have superstars. They got not a lot of nice young players. They got a lot of young stars, but no superstars. But you got leaders. You got a team that's built together, and they're playing for the NBA championship. He is a better. Yeah, absolutely. One said, you're not coming to Philly thinking we are a sure win after hitting the buzzer beater against the Knicks. Different. Dude, that buzzer beater against the Knicks and that jump, and Joel Embiid went up and grabbed him and shook him. Was that the highlight? Was that the peak of the process era? Did it all go downhill after that buzzer beater against the Knicks? That was the high of highs, right? I really think it was. The high of high. Maybe. Anyway, what's on the docket tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know what's on the docket. More Eagles, more Sixers, more Phillies. I got to learn more about this Ace Bailey situation today. I'm sure more information will come out as the day goes along. Maybe there'll be some more Sixers rumors. I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow's show will be about. But you know what? We all need to tune in. You got to like, you got to share, you got to subscribe. You can still vote. TJ gave up his jersey number to Tobias for free. This is after this man got $180 million. Leave Tobias hate out of this, okay? I don't have any Tobias Harris hate. Tobias Harris made the playoffs. Sixers did not. I would have taken Tobias Harris back on this team over Paul George after watching this play out. So let's not hate on Toby today. But anyway. Tobias Harris, we've been over that. We've been down that road too many times. I don't want to do it. Guys, 11 weeks from today, on this very show, at this moment, I will be giving you my Eagles-Cowboys Week 1 score prediction. 77 days from now, September 4th at 9:25 a.m., I'll be saying the Eagles are going to win blank over the Dallas Cowboys. 77 days. We'll be talking football again. We'll be back to a normal football routine on Trending in the AM. Score prediction. We'll be talking game prediction, strengths and weaknesses, recapping games. It's time. And 77 weeks from today at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., I'll be going live because we're going to go live for every single Eagles game right here on this channel. We're going to do watch parties every game. Every game. Hell, actually, we'll be doing it for preseason games as well. But we'll get to that bridge when we get there. Do we care all that much if we win or lose Week 1? This is Cowboys Super Bowl. Yeah, I think there could be a letdown Week 1. I mean, I won't predict it, but there could be. The banner being raised, all the pomp and circumstances of opening night. There's room for a letdown there. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Dallas Cowboys fans will be coming out of the woodwork. We're a better team than the Eagles, blah, 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 blah. It can happen. It can happen. And it's going to make me throw up in my mouth. But whatever. Guys, time to wrap this shebang up. Thank you all for tuning in today. It's been a blast as always. Please like, share, subscribe. We'll be pissed if we lose for sure. Oh, we'll be pissed, but it could happen. Which games are going to be the Kelly Green games? Who gives a rat's ass about Kelly Green, Mitchie Poo? Not this guy. Not this host. Not this guy right here. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Like, share, subscribe. The poll's still open. You can vote. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with more great content, more great interactions, more great doing what we do, which is be the alternative to the dial. Because that's what we got to do. We got to convince people to turn the dial off and turn Trending in the AM on. Oh, we gained a subscriber. Hey! What's that put us at, Mitchie Poo? How many more? 28 to go for you. So let's go, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We are the alternative to the dial. We are better than the dial. That's what we are here, guys. Everybody have a great Thursday. It's going to rain a little bit today. It's going to be hot this weekend. It's time to wrap it up, guys. Go Birds. Bubbles up.